Hi everyone, it's Jake, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through the Despia branded deck. This is like part of a series that I'm doing to help everyone prepare for YCS London and the Open in the UK if you're going to do that. Plus, obviously, the 250th YCS is held around the world, so if you're watching it from America, it can help you for I think it's in California, and I think the South America one's Bogota. So yeah, this is just a bit of just trying to refresh. So I've done the Naturi Runic deck, which I think is going to be pretty popular. It was pretty popular at the most recent YCS, which that being Lima, won by Adventure Sprite. I mean, I think I'll go over that in another video. But just for today, we're going to go through the branded deck. So go through the card by card. This is a list that I've taken off Koty. I'm trying to bring out and use more current lists that pro players are using, because I think that's going to be the ones that get followed by the masses the more. So there's no point me sort of sitting here in the lab crafting a list that I only play, and then you learn how my list plays and all the rest of it, but it doesn't really help you because you're not playing against my list, you're playing against Koty Angelov's list. Not that I'm saying my list would be any better than Koty Angelov's, but you get the drift. So let's go through the card by card of the deck. So Adlib, I'm just going to give a quick explanation of what all the cards do. This, when it's banished or sent to the graveyard, uses fusion material. You can special summon a Despia monster from your banished or a level 8 or higher fusion. Albion does too much stuff. Basically, it's always Fallen of Albaz in the hand. You can reveal it, send a card from the deck to the graveyard, a branded spell or trap card from the deck to the graveyard, and then depending on where this card was sent from, if you sent it from the hand, you can special summon it, or if you sent a card from the deck, you can put this card to the bottom of your deck and draw one. This can also use its effect in the graveyard to send one from the deck to the grave and then put itself to the bottom of the deck. I understand that was really confusing. Hopefully we'll see it in the combos, make it look easier. Aluba, normal or special, you can add one branded spell trap from deck to your hand. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of opponent's card affecting target one effect monster they control, special summon it and negate that. Ash, we're not going to go through that. Blazing Cartesia. This is a new one. I think it was out of Dabble, Secret Rare. If you control the Fallen of Albaz or it's in your graveyard, you can special summon it. During the main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon one level 8 or higher using this card. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add this card from the graveyard to the hand. So a nice bit of recursion there. That recursion does come up quite often, and if this is in your grave because you haven't recurred it the first turn, and your opponent's out the board in their turn, well then you get to add it back. Bestial Saronia, same as every other Bestial, banish light or dark to summon it. But the better synergy with this Bestial is it gets to send a branded spell or trap from the deck to the grave. Tragedy, 2 effects. When it's sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can add a Despia monster from your deck to your hand, and then you can banish this card from the graveyard to set a branded spell or trap, but you can only use one of its effects per turn, so you can't like banish it, you can't send it to the grave, get the search, and then banish it from the grave to set the trap. Albaz, normal to special, discard a card, fusion summon one monster on your side of the field, one monster on their side of the field, but it has to make something, it has to include the Fallen of Albaz. So you can discard one card, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck, use some materials on either field as fusion material, including this card, but you cannot use other monsters you control. So it has to be like one card you control, and then cards on their side of the field, and it has to use Albaz itself. Nib, we know what Nib does. Spriggan's Kit, if you've got a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz on the field, you can special summon it. You can special summon it, and then if this card's normal special, you can add one branded spell or trap from the deck to your hand, and then place one card from the bottom of the deck. So it works like sort of like the Trap Brigade monsters. Libellion, if it's in a grave, or is it in the grave or hand? Special, oh yeah, hand or grave, by attributing one level 6 or higher dark dragon monster you control. Then when it's summoned, you can place one branded continuous spell, well, not when it's summoned, but its effect is when it's on the field, you can place one branded spell trap card face up. And then you can send it from your hand to the graveyard to add a bestial monster. So basically, the Libellion adds the Saronir by sending it from the hand, and then when the Libellion's summoned, you can place Branded Lost, which we'll get to soon, face up, or yeah, it's just Branded Lost, face up in the Spell and Trap card zone. Then we've got Tri-Brigade Mercuria. When opponent activates monster effect while you control a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and negate that effect. So that comes up quite a bit. But then what comes up even more is when it's banished. So Goldstar can banish it. If it's in the grave, the Bestial can banish it. And then what you can do is you can add one Fallen of Albaz or one monster that mentions it. So Albion mentions Fallen of Albaz. Blazing Cartesia mentions Fallen of Albaz. Obviously, Fallen of Albaz is Fallen of Albaz. Then, is there anything else? Nope, there isn't. And then Dark Magician. This is just here for the fusion material to make Dragoon, because you can make Dragoon using Libellion. We'll get to that later. Book of Eclipse, everyone knows what Book of Eclipse does. Branded Fusion, summon one fusion monster mentions Fallen of Albaz as material using 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field. You cannot special summon monsters from the X deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card, so this locks you in the fusions. Branded in red, target Despia monster in your graveyard or Fallen of Albaz, add it to your hand. Then you can fusion, so you don't have to fusion. You can fusion one level higher monster from your X deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from your hand or field, but it cannot attack directly this turn. So that's like if you activate Branded Red in the battle phase, you can only use it to kill a monster. You can't attack for game. Branded Lost, it works very similar to like a Magical Meltdown, so you can't negate the activations of an effect that would fusion summon. So you can't like Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment Branded Fusion, but you can Ash it because that doesn't negate it, negates the effect. And then when it's summoned, when a fusion monster is summoned, you basically can't do anything. So when they summon a fusion monster, you can't like Bottomless Trap Hole or chain anything to their fusion material monsters. And then when a fusion material is summoned, you can add one Fallen of Albaz or one monster that mentions it. So again, it's the Albion, the Cartesias, the Kit, and the Mercuria. Can add all those. Branded Opening, discard a card, then you can add a Despia monster to your hand or special summon it in defense position. If this card resolves, you're locked into fusions, and if a fusion material would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. So next, oh yeah, one more thing about Branded Opening is you can't attack with it because it's in defense, so you can never use it in a battle phase to game. And it locks you into fusions. Foolish, quite a few applications in this deck. So you can Foolish the Albion to then Foolish Spell or Trap. You can Foolish the Tragedy to search. You can Foolish the Libellion to tribute one off the field to bring it back, or you can Foolish the Bestial to Foolish another Bestial card. So quite a few applications. Fusion Deployment, so reveal one fusion monster in the extra deck and special summon to your hand, from your hand or deck, one of the fusion materials who was specifically listed on that name. So you see how here it lists specifically Fallen of Albaz, so you could reveal that. What else we have here is Grangrinol, butchered that. The Dusk Dragon, we'll go with that. Blazing Cartesia, that's how you can add Blazing Cartesia. And I suppose if you really wanted to add Dark Magician, you could, if you wanted to special summon Dark Magician, you could special summon Dark Magician. So that could happen. I don't know if that'd come up. Goldsark, again, you can Goldsark the Mercuria to add anything Fallen of Albaz, and you can Goldsark the Tragedy to add the Aluba. Then we got the Gimmick Puppet. This is like part of a lock that the deck's going to do. So we're going to summon this Gimmick Puppet to our opponent's field, and basically all you need to know about this Gimmick Puppet is if this card is special summoned, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Gimmick Puppet monsters. So providing that your opponent's not on pure Gimmick Puppet, they shouldn't be able to special summon anything for the rest of the turn. Then we'll go to Branded Expulsion. Tribute a fusion monster, then target 2 non-fusion monsters that are banished and or in either graveyard, so you can do your opponent's graveyard as well. Special summon both monsters, 1 on each field. If you tribute a fusion monster that mentions Fall of Albaz and materials, so like this, you can see it mentions Fall of Albaz there, you can special summon in defense position. So basically we're going to get this gimmick puppet in the grave, set up the Branded Expulsion, activate the Branded Expulsion, summon this to our opponent's side of the field, and it's effectively a scythe. So we got Branded Retribution. When spell trap card or monster effect is activated, that includes the effect that special summons a monster. Return to the extra deck 1 face-up monster you control or 2 fusion monsters in your graveyard that mention Fallen of Albaz's material. And if you do, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So a bit of an omni negate there, but that's not the most important part of the effect. You can banish this. Another effect is when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard and target 1 branded spell trap in the graveyard, except Branded Retribution, and add it to your hand. You can only use 1 Branded Retribution effect and only once a turn. So basically, if you buy some kind of means as regards to the Bestial dumping or the Albion dumping, you can quite often set up a Retribution and a Fusion, or a Retribution and an Expulsion. You can then banish the Retribution to search the Expulsion. So a quick run over the side deck. Free Contact C, free Denko Seeker, Aqua Dolphin, Aquaneos. You play this for the Fusion deployment target to search the Aqua Dolphin. 2 crossouts, 3 econs, a D-barrier, and a call by. The only difference between this deck and Koty Angelos is I've swapped the gimmick puppet with the call by. I don't think he doesn't main the gimmick puppet, but I'm going to, just for the sake of this video. And as well, I think that you should probably main it anyway. And then side deck, 2 Albion. This is Fallen of Albaz and a light. You can fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from the extra deck, except this, by banishing materials mentioned on it. Fallen of Albaz, Brigand, the Glory Dragon, Fallen of Albaz and level 8. Can't be sure about battle. I'm just going to let you read over the ones from last format. We'll just go over the new ones. If this card is fusion summoned, you can send 1 level 6 or higher light or dark monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. So you can send the Albion to get a search, or you can send the Bestial to get another dump. Guardian Chimera. Then we got the Libellion, the Mirror Jade, the Drugostopelia, the Dragoon, which for some reason is only a level 8. Wild. Because it being a level 8, you can summon it with Libellion and Albion, which is crazy. This is a new one, I think. Fallen Balvaz and a Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster. When a Fusion Synchro access E-Link monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate that effect, and then you can return 1 monster on the field to the hand. During your opponent's turn, while this card's in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target 1 Fallen of Albaz in your graveyard, special summon either that monster or this card and banish the other. So this is really cool because it gives you special summon the Albaz, and then you can use the Albaz effect to basically steal 1 of their monsters, fuse with it, and then make another one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the combo tutorial. Now, this can happen with this deck. I don't think this is even remotely playable at all. Just have a quick sip and a thing. No, I don't think this is playable. Right, so like this can happen with this deck. It's not the most consistent thing. You're playing a Dark Magician in the main. Oh, again. Again, that's another break. Or at least it's not any decent combo. Right, eventually. Basically, because we've seen Branded Fusion, we know that it's going to be possible to combo. So let's get into what we're going to do here. So we're going to start in the draw phase. Opening to pitch the Branded Retribution to summon the Aluba. We want to get the Branded Retribution. It's grave in the grave. It's pretty good. We've got two cards that we'd like to see in the grave, to be honest, the Dark Magician and the Retribution. So that's a nice discard of the opening, and it'll be a nice discard of the Rebellion later on. So then we'll use the Aluba to add Lost. Then we'll use Lost. Then we'll use Branded Fusion. Then Branded Fusion will send, it always has to send to Albaz. And we'll send a Gimmick Puppet to summon out Rebellion. Then we'll use Rebellion Chainlink 1, discarding this, and we'll use Lost Chainlink 2. So Lost or search Carrier, and then this will fuse with the see, there's two lines. You can either use the Dark Magician and the Albaz to make Dragoon, or you can make Mirror Jade. I'm going to make Dragoon here. I think it's better. Then we can, so we got a number of lines here. So we can Foolish, Burial, the Saranir. Then Saranir will send the Expulsion. And then, yes, I think we'll do that. Then Expulsion, this will banish to add back the Expulsion, because this can banish from the graveyard to add one back. Then we'll set the Expulsion. Then going into the opponent's turn in the draw phase, we'll Expulsion, which means we get to but we'd actually have to wait for them to do something first. We'd have to wait for them to get a monster in the grave, or we could Macaria to negate a monster effect, or Dragoon effect to negate. Then we could Expulsion by special summoning this to our tribute this, then target these two. It's tribute and target for cost, so you have to have two in the grave to use it. And then we could give our opponent this Macaria, and we have the Gimmick Puppet. We give our opponent the Gimmick Puppet, and we have the Macaria, and then the Gimmick Puppet locks them out for a turn, and then it comes back to our turn, and we've got, you know, enough damage to pop the Gimmick Puppet, hit them for 1,000. This is already on 4k. There's a lot of damage to be had here. So that's the basic premise of doing the Dragoon and the Gimmick Puppet. This hand is pretty good. So we can go draw phase, the same thing, into the Aluba, but this time we're not going to add the Lost, we're going to add Branded Fusion, because you need Branded Fusion. Then we're going to add Fusion Deployment, so we can reveal this guy to special summon the Cartesia. Then we can use the Cartesia as fusion material into this guy. Then we can use this to send the Rebellion. Then Rebellion contribute this to special summon itself. Oh no, I can't. No, I can't, because it's not a Dark Dragon, I think. Yeah, tributing one Dark Dragon, so you can't do that. So you have to send the Saranir instead. Then Saranir's affecting graveyard activates to send the Retribution. Yeah, to send Retribution. Then you can Branded Fusion. Send in the Albaz. Then I think if we go Dark Magician here, then we can use we can have the Libellion on the field, and we can do that. I think here you can only gimmick puppet lock them, so going to send these two to make Libellion. Then I'm going to use Libellion's effect to fuse with Libellion and the Fallen of Albaz to make Mirror Jade. Then I'm going to use this effect Engrave, which then dumps the Expulsion. Then I'm going to, then that puts this to the bottom of the deck. Then I'm going to banish the Retribution to add the Expulsion back. Then what I can do is I can wait for their turn. I can use this effect to banish basically the first monster they summon. Then I can use the Expulsion to tribute this off, give myself the Aluber, give them the Gimmick Puppet. I'm just putting in the extra monster because you can't get it back on DB if you give it to them fully. Then this will activate, which will get me a Branded Fusion. Then in the end, this will activate, which will get me a Lost. Then I can also, I've used everything here. So now my turn, I have all this attack power. I have a Lost, I have a Fusion, and I have something to discard. So I could send these two here to make a Libellion. Could use this effect, could send this, and the Lost would trigger. So the Lost could add me the Mercuria, and the Tragedy could add me the Ad Libitum, and then the Libellion could fusion into a Mirror Jade. Then I could use the Mirror Jade effect to banish the Gimmick Puppet that they have. I could then attack for 3,000, 1,800 and 2,500. Then I could brand it in red, add back this to my hand, and then I could banish this, and this to make the Chimera. Then Chimera could get a pop, obviously that can't attack, but then this would bring back this. Then I have a live Mirror Jade going into the next turn. So there's just tons and tons of follow-up, tons of OTK potential, and you can lock your opponent out. So yeah, the deck's definitely very powerful. It has a couple of weaknesses with the Bestials, with Bricking, with Ash, because if you get Ashed on a Branded Fusion, it just becomes almost impossible to win, almost impossible to put up any sort of interaction. What is good against the Gimmick Puppets is the Runic cards, because they just stop you from dying, but then again you can put a lot of pressure on and get very, very far ahead with like this board into a Runic board. And obviously they don't have a battle phase to clear anything, and you've got big monsters, so it's really tough. So this deck is good, but I don't think I'd ever play it, because I couldn't allow myself to play a deck where I could just lose to one Ash Blossom on the Branded. Again, I did this for Nats and I didn't really like it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. And let me know if you liked it. And please subscribe as well, because I don't really have many subscribers. And I get a lot of people who watch my video and don't subscribe. So that would be great. Cheers, everyone. Thanks. Bye.